Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today, I wanted to get on and talk about sex and the energetic system. And so I kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday. I talked about the scientific knowledge that we have now around, why it's so beneficial to have orgasms on a regular basis. And so I wanted to talk more about the energetic side because I think maybe there's a little bit of confusion around this for a lot of people. And if you've ever heard of the chakra system, maybe it'll start to make a little bit of sense. Or if you just have an openness to the idea that we're made up of energy, right? And that's not, out there woohoo kind of stuff. That's just we are made up of energy. That's scientifically known, right? So, but we have different ways of talking about how energy moves and flows through our body, right? We have different ways of describing it. And so going back to the ancient wisdom that came from like India and it was, but not just around that, but like we have like all kinds of different ways that different societies talked about energy and all of that wisdom that we can gain around recognizing that we are made up of energy and we have the ability to shift or move that energy. We have the ability to have some kind of control over it to a certain extent. So when I talk about the energy, I tend to talk about it in relation to the chakra system because it is the one that I understand the most because of my yoga training and whatnot. And I'm not going to go through the whole chakra system. I'm just going to talk about maybe three main chakras that I think are related to sex and this conversation that we're having. Of course, they're all engaged. We're one being that we can't separate the mind from the body from the spirit, right? Like it's all one. And so from coming at it from the yogic sense, it just makes sense to talk about it that way. So clearly we have some ideas around sex that often involve two people or more, but usually involve certain parts of our body and certain actions. And I think it's really important to understand that while all of that is true and pleasurable, that there's other aspects to sex that go beyond just the physical nature of it, right? When we're talking about the energy flowing within us, we're also recognizing that we're sharing energy with whomever we're engaging with, right? So that they have an energy flow within them, but they're also exuding energy, and that those energies kind of are mingling just like your bodies are. So from that respect, it's really when you understand that, it can bring so much more to your activities together, right? So, but just from an individual perspective, if we just want to talk about just ourselves here, which I think is really, really important because I think it really has to start with us and our understanding not just of our physical body, what makes us tick and what buttons get pushed to physically turn us on, but I think we really, really need to know what turns us on energetically. And by energetically, I don't, again, just mean certain parts of us, but our whole, right? The whole of our being. So, including our mind and our emotions and our spirit. So, keeping that in mind and the fact that I can't I don't have time to talk about all of the chakras, and it really, we can just kind of trim it down to, again, just suit this topic. When we, just to get a broad sense of what we're talking about, if you've never heard of the chakra system, it starts at the base of your spine, so on the pelvic floor, and it moves upward through the center of your body, up your spine, up through to the center of your crown, and then beyond. So it starts at the sacrum and the pelvic floor, and it moves upward, and it moves in a counterclockwise spiral, up the center of your body. But then it also branches out into the smaller nodules and smaller chakras. So, but most people tend to focus on the 7 main chakras that go up through the center of the spine and into the head. So the first chakra is the root chakra. That is at the base of your spine and your pelvic floor. And then when you move up a little bit further, excuse me, so between your belly button and your pubic bone, you'll find the second the second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. And this one has to do, I think, I'm choosing this one of the 3 that we're going to focus on, because this one has to do with not just the physical manifestations of our sexual desire, but it has to do with creativity, our emotions, our capacity to feel joy in life, and our openness to new experiences. And so when we're thinking about energy, think about if you have stale, stagnant air, like if you've got a room that's completely windowless and there's no, fresh air coming in, and over time this just, stale air builds up, and if you were to step into that air, eventually there's just not enough oxygen to feel like really sustaining, right? And so it just kind of, it'll stagnate, and it'll just kind of be and you would feel that feeling of stagnation, right? You wouldn't feel like, oh yeah, that's, life-giving air. So think about it in that respect, like the energy flows through the various chakra centers, and if there's an imbalance in any kind of way, whether it's in your thinking, feeling, in your physical body, in any respect, if you're not living in balance, it's going to show up in that chakra area, right? And it's going to affect. So it's either like, what comes first? Maybe there's a physical manifestation, or maybe something happened to you physically, an injury, and then it has sort of the opposite effect of sort of now it's shifting the energy in a different way and affecting other aspects of you. So thinking about if you were, say, in an accident and you hurt say you fell and you hurt your tailbone and maybe you broke off a little piece. I've had friends have that happen to them. Well, if during the time that you're healing that, if there's any kind of like imbalance around that, and if it kind of creates a sort of pattern of stuckness there, and you're not able to sort of fully heal that area, it can actually start to affect your mood and your spirit, right? Because again, we're one whole being, and we need to look at it more holistically. So from a sexual standpoint, if we are not engaging in any kind of like solo play or partner play that's gratifying, that's that feels really great, and maybe hopefully most of the time, if not all the time, you achieve an orgasm. But like that's that's not always going to happen. Like sometimes you just don't, and that's okay. I'm not here to say like you have to have an orgasm every single time. However, you know, the more times you do, the more likely you are to have more. And of course, the health benefits of having them are already known. So if we're having great satisfying sex, if we are open to new things, if we are maybe, you know, we've got some creative outlets, that's a chakra that's in balance, and the energy flow through that chakra is going to be really nice and, you know, robust and smooth and healthy. And just, you know, if you kind of picture it in your mind, I think that chakra is, the color is orange. So maybe you're picturing like a really nice, rich orange or a nice, bright orange. It's nice and, yeah, it's just, it's got that healthy glow to it, if you can imagine. And if you want to do some meditation around that, maybe that's something, a way to engage with that. Just sort of imagining that orange light, just sort of infusing that whole area, and it's nice and healthy and clear, and allowing for any negative energy to move out of that area can be a really great meditation to do. And also there's some great ways through movement that we can help to bring more blood flow to that area, to move and shift the energy. We can do different breathing techniques to do that as well. So the thing with the chakra system is when we know more about the chakra system, we can actually do certain techniques and utilize certain practices to help create more balance and to help, you know, have the energy flowing through us more healthily. Okay, so the next obvious one when we're talking about, you know, sex and intimacy and partnerships, or even, you know, solo practice, of course, is the heart chakra, which is the fourth chakra. So as you're moving up the system, it's the root chakra, second chakra, the excuse me, the solar plexus chakra, third one, and then the heart chakra is the fourth. So they're kind of going up the line here. And so of course the heart chakra isn't just about connecting to others, right? It's about being able to connect to ourselves. And the problem is that if we've sustained an injury to that area, or we've had a feeling of heartbreak in that area, it can really affect the energy flow through the heart chakra. And this affects our ability to feel compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. So maybe we get caught in that negative self-talk loop when our heart chakra is out of balance, right? So it's more than just about loving other people. It's about being able to turn that love inward. And when we're able to practice self-love, then we're more likely to you know, find ways to engage with the erotic and to be open and engage with our sensuality, right? So these all work together. And then if you go further on up, you've got the throat chakra, and then the third eye chakra, which is the sixth chakra. And that's all about being balanced and trusting your inner wisdom and making better decisions. So it's about sort of finding that connection to ourselves that is sacred within us, that's before or in spite of things that have happened to us, or beliefs that we've formed, or feelings that we might have. There's this part of us that's knowing that we are deserving of love and pleasure. And so again, I don't want to get caught up on one definition of sex. I want it more to be about a conversation about engaging with sensuality and the erotic and how important that is. And so even if you're physically not able to achieve an orgasm despite, maybe seeking out other resources and exploring different reasons why physically maybe you're just so and that happens sometimes, or maybe you've been injured. But I want you to recognize, hopefully through just this like tiny glimpse into the energetic system, that there's more out there to explore than just the physical body when it comes to pleasure. And so I'm talking about engaging maybe in Tantra energy, Kundalini energy, and doing some exploration around that. Because if there's, if certain things are cut off to you, then maybe we need to explore different avenues. And so much like when someone loses one of their senses, the other ones become more enhanced. We can actually do that with around sexuality and sensuality. And so I often talk about Jaya's book, Your Blueprint for Pleasure, because I think that's a really great introduction into all the different ways that we can explore sexuality and the erotic. And it talks about the energetic blueprint. And so I think ideally, well, it talks about all of them. There's 5 of them. So I guess the intention is to get some better understanding of all of those different blueprints and being able to access all of them, including the energetic one. And that's what I'm kind of focused on here, is more of the energetic blueprint. And so hopefully this helps, or maybe doesn't help you understand it so much as gets you interested in doing some more exploring. Because I can't explain it all just in a little video here, but there's so much knowledge out there. So do a Google search, check out Jaya's books. Check her out on YouTube. Also, like, do a Google search for Tantra. See what's out there. Because it's all, it's about you connecting to you more deeply. And so, and recognizing the importance of why you should want to do this exploration, right? So I talked about in my video or in my live yesterday about, how often I hear that people are just, I'm done with sex. And I'm like, okay, but are you done with the erotic? Are you done with sensuality? Are you done with, so like, I need to understand, like, what are you done with, right? What exactly are you done with? So I know what else we have to work with, because there's a huge amount of stuff that you have to work with, even if you're done with that one thing for whatever reason, whether it's by choice or because, of other outside sort of forces at play. So I want to share that with you in hopes of sparking some interest, piquing a little bit of your curiosity, and hopefully you'll go out and do a little bit more exploration. And feel free to check out some of my other lives I've done, excuse me. I usually will post them over on YouTube, so if you miss some of my lives, you can just go on over there and check them out. I talk a lot about like toxic relationships, about how that affects our mental health, how it affects our sexual health and physical health, all of it, because it's all so interconnected. So even if you're in a toxic relationship or you've come out of one and you're just not interested in engaging with another person, this is still really vital and important for you to understand that this is part of your well-being. right? This is right up there with taking care of, making sure you do your workouts. It's right up there with flossing and brushing and eating properly and all of that good stuff and taking good care of your skin. It's all important. This is right up there, right? Prioritize it because it's important to your health. I'm not talking about how to please a lover or how to please some other person. It's about knowing who you are, what pleases you, and being able to give yourself that. So, thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Namaste.